So to get us started, we got two different problems. One's addition, one is subtraction. So -8 plus -12, and that one's already addition, so that's nice. Which means that we're going to take the two values, and we see that they're both negatives, which makes the answer a negative. And since it's addition, another way to look at this, you got 8 negatives, and then you're making it more negative right there. So that's why it's 8 plus 12, which is 20, so negative 20. Now this next one, -8 minus 12. Keep, change, change is sometimes shown like this. Change, change, like that. Keep, change, change, like that, okay? So that becomes -8 plus -12. What this does is it makes this problem the same exact one as up here. It's just shown a little bit different like this. And so we find that this answer is also -20. Same exact problem, just pretty much shown in a different way. And then there is our objective. I can add and subtract with negatives and positive values, which is pretty much all we've been doing, addition and subtraction with negatives and positives. Take 1 minute to copy this down. Now you'll keep in mind that when it comes to subtraction, we don't actually usually use subtraction because of keep, change, change. And that way we only have to remember one set of rules. And the only rule we need for subtraction then is keep, change, change. So you'll see a problem like this, I believe on the assignment. Write an expression equivalent to 2 minus 6 by changing the operation to addition. Now it may not say to change the operation to addition, but that's really what it would ask if it didn't, okay? So it may say write the expression with a different operation. But it will not, it probably won't specify that it's addition. So this is, well, it's keep, change, change. So we got 2 minus 6. And if I want to use keep, change, change, which is what I do want, I know that 2 is positive. So I'll keep it positive, and then I will change, change. See that? So that becomes 2 plus -6. It's possible that you may have to show this as 2 plus -6 with parentheses like this. And that'd be fine at that point, okay? So some people call this a double pen stroke or something like that, or I don't know, just 2 lines or something like that. But it's the same thing as keep, change, change that we've been doing, just shown with a slightly different hue. Write an expression that shows the difference of 10 and 4. So we need a little bit of vocabulary on this one. And yeah, I would say the first thing that we should notice here is it did say difference. Now, if you struggle with these types of problems, which is common, it just may take several readings to understand what it is asking for. But the first thing that I would notice here is it says difference. And when it says difference, that is a subtraction problem, okay? If it were an addition problem, it would say something like sum, or they're combining stuff, or they're adding to, something like that. Difference is subtraction. Of course, they may just say subtracted from, or subtracted to, or less than, something like that would be subtraction. And we do have to be careful about order when it comes to subtraction. So this is where it can be a little bit tricky. It says the difference of 10, so that would go in our first position, right before the subtraction, and 4. So that has to go second. This expression is very different than 4 minus 10. You could not do that on this one, okay? Do not write 4 minus 10. That's out of the order here. Now, for some subtraction problems, it's possible to write them out of order, but for problems like this one, where it's just a straight difference, it's a direct statement, 10 minus 4. Now, I talked about this before. The nice thing about mathematics is that it will simplify, I guess, long sentences like this. And you could have written TEN for 10 and FOUR for 4, which would make this even more complicated, right? But we can do this with symbolic representation, math representation, which kind of makes math its own language, right? But that's good right there. Here we go. Write an expression that shows the sum of 33 and -81. So here we go. This one is a sum. And a sum would be an addition problem right there, okay? What is it the sum of? Well, it gave us both values, starting with 33, so I would write this one in first, and -81. So this -81, I'm not just going to write it out like this. I'm going to put it in parentheses just to be thorough so that we know it's not plus minus. It's plus -81, and there is a difference, kind of. So now this is an addition problem. Would it have been okay to write this out as -81 plus 33? I would say yes. But I think the problem that's like this on the assignment is kind of a multiple choice thing. So, but either one of these would give you the same answer. And again, that's the nice thing about addition. Order does not matter with addition. It doesn't matter. That's called the commutative property. Not that I think anyone cares though. All right, now evaluate. So this is going back pretty much to our first lesson, 1.1. We want to evaluate -5 and plus 18. So I would look at this one, and it's already an addition problem. That's good. We want it to be an addition problem. But it's a -5 and a positive 18. And we can show the positive sign there if we need to. So the first thing we should do when we add values, and we should only be adding, is we want to figure out the sign of the answer. The answer will always take the sign of the bigger number, which in this case is 18. So it's going to be a positive as well. Okay. Now another way to look at this is to say, look, you have 18 positives and 5 negatives. Whichever one there's more of will be the sign of the answer. Well, yeah, there's more positives here than negatives. Okay. Now we did talk about this. These 5 negatives are going to zero out 5 of these 18 positives, which is why we take the big number and simply subtract the small number. So this would be 18 minus 5, which is 8 minus 5 is 3. In the ones place value, drop the 1. It ends up being positive 13. We don't really need that positive sign, but you're welcome to put it there if you'd like. 13 will do. All right, evaluate this one. 12 plus -3. So this one's also an addition problem, which is what we would want, right? And so I see the first thing that I would want to do here is to combine these, but when I combine them, because it is addition, I want to figure out the sign of my answer. And here I see that there's more positives than there are negatives. So I would know that the answer would also be a positive here, because there's more positives than negatives. And they're opposite signs. So then we take the big number, 12, and subtract the small number, 3, and just subtract them, okay? So 12 minus 3, that'll give us a little niner. It'd be positive 9, but that's it. All right, we go. 6 plus -24. You guys try this one. Take 1 minute, then we'll go over, okay? 1 minute, go. So here, 6 plus -24. Once again, these are opposite signs, and that's important to notice. 6 is positive, the 24 is negative. But in this one, there's more negatives than positives. So then we know that the answer will be a negative, okay? Or you could say the 24 is bigger, either way. But then, since they are opposite signs, you just take the big number, 24, and subtract the small number, which is 6. So minus 6 here. 24 minus 6, I'll borrow from the 2 there to make that 14. 14 minus 6, that'd be 8. And then drop the 1 there in the tens place value. So that'd be a final answer of -18, not just 18. Because remember, the answer was a negative right there. All right, this one, still an addition problem. That's good. If it were subtraction, then we'd use keep, change to change it into addition anyway. So -88 plus 14. So once again, the first thing we would want on this is to know the sign of the answer. And I see that there are more negatives than there are positives, which will make this a negative answer. Then, since the signs were opposites, one's positive, one is negative, take the big number, 88, and subtract the small number, 14. Whatever we get from this will be our answer, just that it's going to be negative. In the ones place value, 8 minus 4 is 4. In the tens place value, 8 minus 1 is 7. No borrowing necessary here, which is pretty convenient. That's it. Here we go. This is our first minus with the negatives. No problem. We can take care of that. So we will use keep, change to change this into an addition problem. So keep the 14 a negative. Now again, some people would have just shown this as change like this. And if you prefer to do it that way, then do it. Okay. If not, then we would say, well, make that a plus. That changes the operation, and then change the sign of -36 then into positive 36. And again, I'm just not showing the positive sign there, which needs to be okay. So now we are adding with opposites. One is negative, one is positive, but I do see there are more positives. So I know my answer will be a positive. I'll put that in, even though we don't need to put it into the answer for Canvas. But now we take the big number, 36, and subtract the small number, 14. So in the ones place value, 6 minus 4 is 2. In the tens place value, 3 minus 1, hey, 2. Positive 22, done. Here's our next one, -62 minus -27. You guys try this one. Take 1 minute, go over it, then we'll go over it together. All right, hopefully that's enough time. If not, finish up what you're doing and then catch up where we are so you can check your work, okay? But negative 62 minus negative 27. Once again, keep, change, change is often shown this way. Right, keep the 62 negative, change, and then change with a couple lines. And that's as much as we need. So this ends up being negative 62 plus 27. I'll write that out just in case it helps you. So negative 62 plus now positive 27. But we see here that the two signs are opposites. So we're gonna combine them, and we see that the 62 is bigger. It's negative, so there's more negatives, which means the answer is going to be a negative. And then we just take the big number 62 and subtract the small number 27. We've got some borrowing to do here. In the ones place value, 7 is too big to take away from 2, so we borrow 1 from the 6 tens and make it 5 tens and 1 10, which is still 6 tens. So 12 minus 7 there is 5. And then in the tens place value, 5 minus 2 is 3. This ends up being negative 35. Done. Now be careful because a problem like this one, 17 minus 6, we see the subtraction sometimes on a problem like this, and we get so used to keep, change, change that it's like you stop thinking. This one's just a direct subtraction problem, you guys. It's just 17 minus 6. Yeah, 6 is small enough to take away from 17, so just line it up by place value, stack it, and subtract. 7 minus 6 in the ones place value is 1. Drop the 1 in the tens place value, boom, you get 11 right there, done. Please try not to overcomplicate that. You could, I mean, look, if you made it with keep, change, change like this, you're still going to get the same answer. It's just I'd prefer that you have a little bit more awareness here to be like, oh, I can just do 17 minus 6 the old-fashioned way. Yeah, do it, okay? And then just you get caught in this idea that you just got to do the same thing every time. Have enough sense to notice that, please. So I didn't see any like this in the classwork. So we're going to do this. I'm going to make it negative 21 and negative 1 there. We're going to make it plus, okay? Now, since it's plus, I'll put this one in parentheses, okay? So remember, if you ever see two numbers being added together, and this, you may have to see this after some keep, change, change, and that's fine. But remember, if the signs are the same, the answer will have the same sign, no matter if they're both positive or if they're both negative. So these both are negative. So I know the answer is negative, but once again, we're adding this negative here to what's something that's already negative. So if you're negative and you add more negative, then you get something more negative, which is why we take the two values, no matter what they are, and just add them together, making this 22. So it ends up being negative 22 in the end. Yeah, so if you see that, or if you have to change a subtraction problem into addition, you end up with two negatives. You're going to make the answer negative and just add the two numbers together. Boom. Here's another nice word problem. And again, sometimes these word problems, they just take several readings to really get down. So my recommendation would be to plan on reading these several times so you can understand them, because that's what a lot of students do. Now, if you don't, that's fine. But do be careful, because sometimes I have a tendency to do this where I just solve it quickly and then I missed a word or two that actually changed the problem. So this one says, Sally has $27 in her bank account. She owes her mom $15. Write two different equations, one with addition, one with subtraction, to show how much money Sally has after she pays her mom. Okay, yeah, no problem. So let's see, this is what Sally has. We're going to start out with what she has. $27, right? So 27, like this. Now, for this one, I'd say that she owes, that's going to make the amount negative $15 to mom. So that's going to make that negative 15, okay? Let's see, to show how much money Sally has after she pays back her mom. So if she pays back her mom, we're just going to combine these with addition right here. So that's one of the equations, that's one of the expressions that we would need. Of course, the equation part is where we actually combine these. So let's go and combine them. Okay. So that's an equal part. And I see there's more positives here than negatives, which is going to make the answer a positive. Then we take the big number, which is 27, and we subtract the small number, 15, right? Because they're opposite signs, so they're just zeroing out each other In the ones place value, 7 minus 5 is 2. In the tens place value, 2 minus 1 is 1. So that ends up being positive 12. And yeah, we don't really need that positive sign there, so you could get rid of it. Now that's an equation, and it's the one that has the addition. So that one's checked off, addition is. But we still need one with subtraction. So that's what we will do. We will now show one of the problems with subtraction. Okay, now that's just keep, change, change, essentially. So think about it like this. If I were to rewrite this, we can do this with a couple pen strokes, right? So this would be, you'd say that's a minus, and then that's a positive right there. Keep, change, change. So that's one way to do it. I guess, well, I'll make it a little bit more formal. It should just look a little bit more pretty. That's all I'm going to do. So minus, done. There we go. An addition problem and a subtraction problem. Notice they get the same answer. Oh, in fact, for this one, we should label the answer because it is a word problem. How much money she has, so that'd be in dollars right there. $12. That should do it. There's our objective again. I can add and subtract with negative and positive values, which, I mean, we've already had a lesson on each, but now we're looking at both here, right?